Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. This is Dual Ranger coming to you later and later and later. Anyway, hopefully I'll be able to get through this video and I won't have to edit it because it's just trying to get some thoughts out that I was thinking about. Anyway, one of the things is that kind of cajoled me into doing this video, because I was planning on going to sleep, was I just finished watching a video by Fact versus Religion. And it was basically about Scientology. Now, Scientology has been a thorn in my mental side for many a year. Now, we've dealt with the whole kind of the whole PCS kind of thing, and it's something that really kind of tied me. PCS was, or Venom Fang X, or the original Venom Fang X, was very much like Dave Miscavige, and there was I didn't see it beforehand, but until she made the video I made the connection that they are very reminiscent of each other. I mean, obviously Dave Miscavige is a older gentleman who's more indoctrinated into his form and gets his power, and he is literally the head, and so I mean it's a tad bit unfair on Sean to tie him with that whole, but he's on the route. I mean, he's on the path towards Miscavigedom. But one of the things that she was going through was the indoctrination sheet, or the first intro into Scientology. Now, one thing that's very clear with that's actually been documented far, is that the results of that don't mean a damn diddly squat, because essentially they're going to tell you that you need Scientology no matter what you answer. So once you understand that, and you realise it's a whole century of things. I mean, the thing is, when you're being read, when you're being e-metered, that whole process is, I mean, the e-meter is essentially a two tins connected to a battery, but the whole e-meter has been designed also to give certain people a buzz, an actual drug rush, very slight but still enough to get people hooked to being e-metered. And the whole point of e-metering is to get someone to be clear. Now, to be clear is literally, if you read the writings of L. Ron Hubbard, never to be ill, to be able to live for a very long time, and so on and so forth, which is the whole transcend mortality thing wrapped up into one by a bad science fiction writer. There's numerous bits of fiction that's out there about Scientology, but a lot of it has been closed down. You can still find things if you go to these places like Xenu.net, which is brilliant. The thing about Scientology is, once you read into it, you realise how messed up it is, and how long it's been around. I mean, Scientology has been around for at least 50 years, to my knowledge. I mean, I think it's been around for longer than that, but I don't have the figures to hand. But it's built up. I mean, some people have been in the Sea Org for a very long time. What the Sea Org is like the innermost sanctum of Scientology. It's like where the champions of Scientology go. When you read about how people even get treated in the Sea Org, living in bunks, being, having emotional connections with family members, totally torn away. If you're not in Scientology, you can't really speak to them, even though they say in public that they don't do that. It's been documented by people who've left the Sea Org, paying people some like $46 a month to live on for their food, their clothes, any medical treatment they need, anything like that. Like, ridiculous. And demanding lifetimes worth of work, getting people to sign million year contracts because their immortal souls all exist. One of the most harrowing and, I mean, pure shuddering experiences for me was reading the event at the Sea Org of musical chairs. Now, I advise anyone who's watching this, the few people that do subscribe, to Google Scientology, Dave Miscavige, Sea Org, and musical chairs, and just read the story. And if you can't, I'll try and find a link for it and put it in the comments, because for me it was one of the most harrowing things to read that someone did to people that honestly believed in what they were saying. I mean, it was just it's just such a terrible thing to do. And there's so much information out there. I mean, there's a great podcast which I'll go through at a later point, which interview people that have left the Scientology organization and have their thoughts and feelings about being involved in them, and hearing it from the horse's mouth. People involved with Scientology, it just hits home. And there's some great resources out there. I mean, anyone who's watched South Park understands the Xenu story. Understands that, you reach level 3 and you get that Xenu story. But hearing from people like Jason Begay leaving, Jason Begay was the poster child of Scientology, and when he left Scientology, you get to hear sort of check it out. I mean, it's amazing to listen to this great orator explain about being in something and explain how he feels, and and I can't do it justice. I mean, you do have to check this out. But one thing I want to say is Anonymous, I want to thank you guys for all the help you do to people that I've never met and I'm never connected to, and I hopefully one day I'll meet them. But I want to thank you guys, because Anonymous really do rock. They work hard to highlight and make people aware of what Scientology actually is. Scientology, it's documented that they infiltrated the IRS at the same time as when they got their tax exempt status. They aren't a church. I would never call Scientology a church of Scientology, and it's a shame to watch how it works and how it's infiltrated our media industry, and how some actors have to feel like they have to join Scientology to get along, because you've got people like, not just Tom Cruise, but Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, is a Scientologist, and the Scientology seems to be the religion of the rich and have too much money and not enough time to know what to do with it. It's a shame that Scientology is still around and people do believe in this nonsense story, and and it's another one of those nonsense stories that people attribute faith, and it's a shame, in my opinion. It's a real shame. And who am I to comment on it? Just a guy on YouTube. But just read it for yourselves. Anyway, this is Jewel saying peace out and have a safe journey wherever you're heading.